Hi all, good evening. Sorry for delay. Uh, there is some issue with my meeting ID, so I could not join on the right time. Okay. Guys, can you hear me? Is my voice audible? Am I audible, guys? Is my screen visible? Okay, 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 fine. So I hope you all installed on a Vagrant. Okay, if you have any issues, also no problem. We'll try to look at today. So what we did is yesterday we tried to install Vagrant. Today we'll try to understand some of the plugins in a Vagrant. Okay, so just let me recap now 5 minutes what we learned yesterday, and then we'll move forward. So the idea behind Vagrant is, right? Idea behind Vagrant is we are trying to create virtual machines. Okay, we are trying to make an infrastructure as a code, and with that, okay, we are trying to prepare a virtual machines, right? 1 minute. So we are trying to prepare a virtual machines with the help of Vagrant. So for every topic there is an assignment, you can look at that and try to practice it. So once you install Vagrant, you can create a multiple servers also in a single go, right? You can create a multiple servers also in a single file. I explained also that is how to create multiple files, multiple virtual machines in a single go. Basically, if you look at terminology, guys, the Vagrant base box is nothing but the base which is installed OS. How you are downloading, that is what you are downloading, that is nothing but base box. Vagrant box is nothing but virtual server. Okay, what you are starting. Provisioning is nothing but you are trying to set up on a configuration. You want to install something, that is nothing but provisioning. Vagrant file is nothing but the file where you write in a code. That is a Vagrant file. Yes, you can write on a multiple servers config file in a one single go. And these are all the list of commands what you can do. You can add a box if you want to. Vagrant and it will create a Vagrant file. Vagrant app will start the virtual machine. If you have a multiple virtual machines in a single file, you can specify Vagrant app with that particular server IP address. Sorry, server name. Right, with the server name you can name it. So there is some questions. So what would be the username and password for the what would be the username and password for the Vagrant boxes? Default. Okay, so default by username is Vagrant and Vagrant username and password. Okay, so default username and password is Vagrant. So the question here is, can we create okay, what was the tool to install to run Linux commands on Windows? Git bash. We try to install Git bash, right? The Git bash it will allow you to run the different questions. Yeah, Pankaj, if you have any questions, you can post here. I'll try to address all the questions. Okay. So there is a question from Karthik. What do if I don't have a VT option in a BIOS? Okay, there's an alternative work to assignments. Okay. If you don't have a VT enabled laptop, okay, or machine, no problem. When we discuss in the next week, we'll try to discuss in AWS. You can do all the labs in AWS. You can also integrate Vagrant with AWS. So, okay, just wait for 1 more week. Okay, you can install Vagrant on one of the AWS server and you can integrate with AWS. Okay, no need to worry. Okay, so Pankaj, if the issue is changing an IP address, okay, just change IP address and Vagrant reload. If it is not working, try to look at that. Okay. The question is is that mandatory to install on a Vagrant or an Oracle VirtualBox? No. On your Windows laptop, you are installing Vagrant as well as Oracle VirtualBox, right? You are not installing Vagrant on the Oracle VirtualBox. On both the things on your Linux machine. There's a question from Preeti. What is the best way to reach you to doubts and questions? Okay, Preeti, just send a mail to support team. Okay, okay, quickly they'll try to send me the questions and all. We'll try to respond you as early as possible. Try to contact support team, support@collaborate.net. Okay. Okay, the question is from Ravi Ranjan. Can we install a Windows servers also with the help of Vagrant? Yes, you can. You can do that as well. You can do Windows server. You can install Windows servers as well. Okay. Okay. So let me look at if you have any issues, guys. I'll try to take your screen and try to work with you to resolve that. Okay, don't worry. Okay, if you are okay, there is a question from Kiran Kumar. You are facing issue with a Windows CentOS 7 to bring up. Okay, we'll try to look at what is the issue. Where should I make changes to IP address? Okay, let me explain you the Pankaj 1 minute. Please tell again what is the issue of Git Bash. What is the use of Git Bash is only on a terminal. It's really an option where you can execute Linux commands on a Windows. That's it. Okay, Git Bash is a software. You can execute Git command, all Linux most of the Linux commands are there over there. Okay. Mm. Yeah, you can use AWS as well with the Vagrant. Okay. Yeah, Pankaj, I'll try to take your screen. Just a moment. Timeout, that is up to you. If you want to increase, you can increase it. Okay. So there is a question from Sachin. Can I use all tools on my Windows 7 instead of laptop? Yes, you can do that, whatever you want. Okay. What are other softwares needed to install Devops? Okay, whenever we discuss, right, I'll try to give you that update. Okay, Praveen. So whenever we discuss any particular tool, I'll try to give you the list of the softwares. But all the tools you can install on your laptop, those are all open source. Or else we will discuss next week. We'll discuss AWS concepts. So you can use AWS servers to manage them. Okay. Just give me a minute. I'm getting a call from my office. Okay. Sorry, just I got on a call. I need to attend that. Okay. So don't worry about Vagrant, guys. I'll try to take your all of your screen and we'll try to work together to understand the Vagrant. Okay. So just give me some time to address all your Vagrant issues. Okay. I told you, right? I got in a call. Just I kept on hold. Okay. Call. I got just wait a minute. So let me recap this. I'll take whoever having issues. Don't worry. We'll try to take your screen share and we'll try to work on it. Don't worry. So if you look at an Vagrant app, it will start on a virtual server. If you want to specify a server name, yes, you can specify it. Vagrant SSH to connect a server. Vagrant halt to halt the mission, stop the mission. Right? The Vagrant reload, restart the mission. Vagrant suspend, it will suspend. Vagrant destroy, it will destroy completely from your mission. Okay, it will be deleted from your account. Right? So these are all the commands. Okay, you have, but there is a one thing you need to know, that is Vagrant plugin. So if you want to integrate any other thing, like let us say you want to integrate with AWS, you want to integrate with Azure, so any other thing, okay, they have given you a different plugins. So you can install that plugins and you can, okay, integrate with. Let's say there are like number of plugins. You want to integrate with one of the chef, like you want to integrate with the DNS, etc resolver kind of thing, etc host. What is the etc host is? etc host is on a file where you can update your, okay, your IP address and host name. Let us say using a Vagrant, you are starting some around 5 to 6 servers. In all the servers, you want to update your etc host file with their host name, suppose host name and IP address. You can use a plugin called Vagrant Host Manager. What this Vagrant Host Manager plugin does? Vagrant Host Manager is a Vagrant plugin that manages your host file. That means it will try to update your guest machines and okay, optionally the host also. The goal is to enable the resolution of multi-server environment. That means if you have a multiple servers, all the servers, it will update its host name and IP address, so that you can ping, you can do all the, okay, resolutions. You can ping that, you can make do that also. How to install? Vagrant plugin install Vagrant-host manager. If you run the Vagrant host manager, it will try to update all etc host file. That's it. The one plugin. Automatically at the time of script itself, you want to update etc host file, you can run this etc host manager enabled true, config host manager manage host is true, guest is true, ignore private IP is false. That means it will update private IP address kind of thing. These 3-4 lines you have to update. If you want to update etc host file with all the servers. Okay, first you have to install the plugin first. And also you have a lot many other plugins. Okay, you want to Vagrant AWS plugin, Vagrant DNS updater plugin. So if you look at, if you want to integrate with the AWS, suppose, okay, provider AWS, that is fine. But first you have to install a plugin. Okay, first you have to install plugin. What is the plugin? Vagrant install, plugin install Vagrant-AWS. So once you install the plugin, that Vagrant-AWS, then when you are trying to create Vagrant file, then you have to run command called Vagrant app provider equals to AWS. So you are specifically saying, okay, which provider you required, right? Clear? Is it clear, guys? So there are like different plugins are available. Okay, just I'm trying to ping this particular link on your chat window. Just have a glance on it. Okay. Given in a chat window. Okay. So okay, you missed last session, Danish. Okay, fine. So just we are trying to install an Vagrant and we are trying to understand how to create, how to set up a lab environment for our upcoming sessions. Okay, one of the tool we are trying to discuss is Vagrant. So these many providers are there. Okay, you can install those plugins if you require. You can work with the Vagrant plugin. So if you want to list what are the plugins are available in my Vagrant as of now, okay. So it is taking some time, fine. So once it is installed, you can work with AWS. There are like n number of plugins are there. Right? There, if you want to install, if you want to uninstall, whatever you want, you can do. There are like lot many third-party applications, third-party plugins are there. Based on your requirement, you can download that. You can create it. Okay. So the next topic, what I'm trying to discuss is Git. Next topic we are going to discuss is Git. Okay, here actually we are trying to start our DevOps tools. Today we'll try to discuss Git, and next week onwards, 2 days, we'll try to spend time on AWS. Then we'll try to jump into the one of the DevOps tools like Chef, Ansible. In that way, we'll try to go forward. So one of the widely used version control tool is Git. So today we'll try to understand what is Git, how to use it, and all those things we'll try to understand. Okay. Okay, Namrata, you have questions? Yeah, please raise your hand. We'll try to. Okay. Okay, please go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, Namrata, go ahead. I could see other hand raised also. I'll try to unmute you before going to start Git, right? I'll try to discuss all of you with. Okay, then we go. Yeah, Namrata, please go ahead.
Raghu, so if we'll add the plugin of AWS, okay. So after that, when we give the provider AWS. So in the background file also we have to make the changes like
Yes.
that all the access keys,
So
key
okay,
pair, all.
as of now, we didn't discuss AWS, so I'm not covering that part. So generally, if you want to create in a server, you require an access key and secret access key. That is one thing, but you need to have an AMI, which
AMI and
VPC.
key pair
Yeah,
and all.
all those things you have to specify in your Vagrant file. Then you can start. Okay, let me show you some of the example Vagrant files. Okay.
That we'll do it in our lab when you will go for AWS.
Yes. I'll give you as a task. There is a one task kind of thing in your LMS. You can look at that. You can easily understand. Let me show you. There is an some of the examples are given in a number of examples are there in a market. You can see. So if you look at here, we try to understand one of the Vagrant file here where you could see Vagrant file example box template. Vagrant AWS. No. Just give me a minute. Let me show. There are like n number of Vagrant file examples are there. Okay. So basically, why we can use, how can we use a Vagrant in AWS is, suppose whenever there is a requirement, whenever, see, whoever knows AWS, guys, I'm trying to explain you. So if you don't know AWS, just forget about it. Okay, I'll try to explain you after completing AWS. See, I'm trying to install Vagrant in AWS. Just I'm trying to add dummy box first. Once you added a dummy box,
yeah, that I have doubt. What is that dummy box we are creating? Means
okay,
we're
generally,
giving the.
yeah, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Generally, when you are working with AWS, right? When any service, right? We try to add one box like image. We
Yes.
downloaded from the vagrantup.com. From there, we try to. Here also, if you want to work with AWS images, first we need to have one dummy box over here. Okay, fetch the Vagrant box image. This image is very dependent on the Vagrant provider. So once you downloaded it, now what you have to do is Vagrant in it, you have to add all these keys.
I
Require
have
the
checked this, but the dummy which they have given, right, config VM box equal dummy. So they have just given the name as dummy, or we can give any name.
the name itself dummy. No need to worry. Just run as it is. Vagrant
Okay,
box add.
okay,
The box name
okay,
is dummy. So
okay,
that is a dummy box you required to launch AWS machine.
okay, okay, okay.
Just follow this access key, secret access key, what type of instance you require,
Yeah, I have
all those things.
followed that one all. And can you tell me that VM provider, there is AWS do AWS over it. So what it is doing actually?
Sorry, I didn't get you. Where it is?
Go to that file. That only. Go down, go down. Config VM provider.
Uh-huh.
AWS do what it is?
Okay. What they are trying to say here is generally the VM provider they are hard coding it. Okay, as AWS. Generally, it will look at on a virtual box kind of thing. It is on a defining your variables in AWS. Okay, in a Ruby. So they are trying to say AWS. And if you have any other default one, you overwrite it and try to take wherever you required. Okay, AWS as a provider. You need not to specify Vagrant app hyphen provider equals to AWS here.
Oh, for
Already you
that you
defined
have
your
overridden.
provider. Yeah, already you
Oh, okay,
provided
okay,
here the AWS.
okay, okay,
Okay, so one document is there in your LMS integrating AWS with this one. So try to look at it.
okay.
So I could see some other hand raised here. Let
Thank
us
you, thank you.
unmute. Yeah, let us unmute them as well, and we'll try to get updates. Sandeep, I could see there is a, okay. You have raised hand, but I hope you are muted from your end, self muted. Pramod Kumar. So I try to unmute you. So if you have any concerns, you can raise.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, Pramod, go ahead.
Yeah, I tried to start CentOS on my Vagrant. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm getting this error. No guest edition were ejected on the base box. So can you help me with resolving this?
Sure. After this class, right, we'll try to look at your screen and we'll try to work on. Okay.
Okay, okay, fine.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, this is the one for
Okay.
now.
Thank you. Kiran Kumar, I know if you have any concerns, you can raise.
Hi Raghu, I'm Kiran.
Hi, Kiran.
So I just want to know how this communication will establish between vgrant and JIT.
Git is, see, we didn't work anything about Git now. Just we try to install one terminal. With the
Yeah.
terminal, we are trying to work some commands. There is no interlink between Vagrant and okay. It is,
No,
you can use CMD as well.
no, but how this JIT is communicating to vgrant?
No. We are not using any Git as of now. If you want to install, just you want to work with the CMD also, you can work. Okay.
Okay. And one
And
more
you are.
thing, while yeah, while I'm installing CentOS 7,
Mhm.
if I want to install something else like Red Hat or something else, how can we install that as it is not listed in that website?
Sorry, come again.
So I have installed a CentOS 7 today. So if I
Mhm.
want to install Red Hat, how I can install that Red Hat Linux or something else?
Okay. The CentOS and Red Hat are same. Okay.
Okay,
CentOS and Red Hat are same. But still, if you want to have an RHL, okay,
okay,
just try to go to the vagrantup.com, find boxes, click on find boxes.
okay.
Try to search for an RHL.
Oh, all right, yeah.
Okay.
So,
So this is the RHL 7.
okay.
The name of this one is, okay, this is the one.
So will it
Try to update it.
all the operating systems will be listed here? Or,
Yes, most of them you could find here. Okay.
okay.
So try to look. Okay.
Thanks, Raghu. Thank you.
Yeah. So, like Mathab Khan, right? So I'm trying to unmute you. If you have any concerns, you can raise.
Yeah, Raghu, uh, am I audible
Hi.
to you?
Yes, please go
Yeah,
ahead.
hi. So I have a VMware workstation. How can I use this background with VMware workstation instead of like a virtual box?
So you have to specify hyphen provider equals to VMware. That's it. Better in my class, I suggest go to Oracle VirtualBox for this. That would be
Oracle virtual
easy.
box.
That would be
Okay.
easy to use, and it is an open source. So better go with an Oracle VirtualBox as of now. Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No,
Any other questions?
that is okay.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So two more people I could see here. Just let us finish them and we'll go forward with the class. Sandeep, I think I have already discussed with you. Only the left out is Basant. Yeah, Basant, please, can you please go ahead?
Hi,
Bharat. Sorry,
Raghu. This
Bharat.
is Bharat.
Yeah, Bharat, please go ahead.
Raghu, actually, as you informed, right, I did the modifications in the Vagrant file and I installed two VMs at a time. So when I do a reload of the VM, right, Vagrant reload, I can see the loopback IPs only. But I have given a static IP. So is this a generic one, or generally if I do a reload, it should show the static IP?
No, see what happens, if you update your Vagrant file with your static IP,
Yeah.
it will not update immediately. You need to reload that.
Yeah, when I'm reloading, right, in the logs, I mean, it shows the logs, right? So it is showing as a SSH IP as loopback only, 127.0.0.1.
Don't worry
Okay.
about that.
Okay.
Just you try to connect with your private IP, what you're given.
That works actually. That works. Yeah. Thank you.
That's it.
Okay. Thank you.
Just forget about what it is doing, whether it is
Okay.
allowing you to connect with the private IP. After connecting, whether you could see if config hyphen or not, that is the matter.
Okay. Yeah. Then I am able to connect successfully. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. So I hope most of you have worked with the Vagrant. Yes, some of the issues are there with some of the people. Definitely, I'll try to address them. Okay, so we'll try to move forward with the sessions. Okay, so next session called Git. So one of the widely used, popular, version control tool in a market is Git. People expect a lot of things. Okay, a lot of questions. Okay, as a DevOps engineer, you have to be good at Git. So we'll try to understand what is Git. So anyone worked on a Git now? No? Here in our any of the participant works on Git. Okay. So most of the people, like some around more than 8 to 10 people are already worked. Okay, well and good. If you worked on SVN or Git, whatever. So that is well and good. So the problem with there is a two different version control tools are different types of version control tools are there. One is a centralized, other one is distributed. What is the difference between centralized and distributed? Okay, SVN and rest of all version control tools acts as a centralized version control tool. That means it will maintain one centralized server where all code will be kept over there, and all the different users can connect to that server and try to get that particular code. So what the problem you face if you have a centralized version control tool? So some of the participants, right, in our one of our participants already working on a version control tool like SVN. So what is the issue you faced if you have a centralized version control tool, guys? Okay, what is generally Vishwanath, whoever worked on SVN, what are the issues you faced if you have a centralized version control? Did you face any issues? No. Okay, the one thing, if Sumit says if centralized version control tool, the version one centralized server down, okay, you may lose the data. Okay, that is one thing. Yes, fine. Any other? The major problem would be if you are, let us say, a first user get the code, read write access. Rest of all should, okay, they get a read-only access, right? Did you observe that? So what happens if when first user opened the code, right, that will be lock that code until unless the rest of the users, until unless he save and exit. Okay, so he cannot, right, he cannot get that, rest of the users cannot get that particular code rewrite access, right? All right. So that is the one, okay, major issue if you go for centralized. Okay, you have a copy of the project hosted on one of the centralized server. Everyone connects to that particular server in order to get that particular code changes or get the code or anything. Here it will works with the first come first serve based on principle. It will work on that particular principle, right? So whereas a distributed version control tool, every developer has a copy of entire project in their local machine. Developers can make changes at any point of time. Okay. Then also they also maintain one centralized server. Okay. But that is a secondary. First, okay, every user has their own. Okay, every user has a code in their local machine. So he need not to depend on a centralized server. Okay. So okay. So okay, if you have a distributed version control system, every user has their code in their local machine. They can work independently without connecting to the centralized server as well. So okay, whenever they feel that code, if you updated a code and all, whenever you feel okay, it is okay to push. You can push that code to a centralized server, right? Is that clear? The very first point. So let us move forward in this. Okay, so the question here is what if the same code is already modified in a centralized server? If someone push the code, okay, let us see that. Okay, we try to understand all those options now. So as of now, what we understood, every user has their own local machine code. Whatever the changes he required, he can change on the local code. And once he feel comfort, okay, once he feel that code is prepared and everything is ready, then he can push that code, right? So to a centralized repository so other users can get it. This is the major, one of the basic concept in a distributed version control system. We'll try to look at how it is going to work and all. So distributed version control system, like, okay, if you want to, every Git work directory is, okay, it is all not required as of now. So to install in a Vagrant, install in a Git, right, you can go to this particular location. If it is a Mac or Windows, if you install on a Linux, you can say install Git, apt-get install Git. Windows, already you installed Git bash. Okay, Windows, you already installed Git bash, so you need not to install again, right? Windows, you already installed. So just I'll try to convey you one thing here. You might have just for your understanding, I'm trying to compare this with one of the e-commerce site, let us say. Okay, so generally in e-commerce site, how you purchase any products? Okay, so generally you select an item, you'll add it to the cart. That added item you try to purchase, and that will be delivered to your home. Okay, if within a week, if you didn't, okay, like you can revert back also, right? These are all the options is there in e-commerce site. If you compare the same thing with a Git, you have to create your project directory, that is a working directory. Okay. In the working directory, whatever the files or whatever the content you prepared, updated, whatever, that need to be added to the staging area. Once that added to the staging area, right? So you can commit locally first. So once you committed local repository, right? Either you can, okay, first add it to the staging area, commit to the local repository. Then once you feel that, okay, you want to push to a remote repository to share that code to any of your team members, then you can push it. Clear? So how to add? Git add command. How to commit local repository? Git commit. How to push it? Git push. If you want to pull it. So these are all. Is that flow clear? Is this flow clear, guys? Any doubts? Just I'm trying to compare with the e-commerce site. You can select a product and add it to the cart area. Like here, you try to add into the staging area like git add. You can commit to the local repository like you purchase, git commit, and push. You can pull all those things. Right? So if you look at this particular image, right? There is a workspace. You can add the files to first indexing kind of thing, that is staging area. You can commit that into a local repository. Once you feel that, okay, it is everything code is ready, you can push it to remote repository. From the remote repository, any user can pull or rebase. I'll discuss what is the rebase and everything. You can, if you want, you can fetch it. Then you can check out all those things. You can do that. So, okay, this is the flow actually. So let us discuss those operations in a bit. You have a graphical interface as well for this. You can first try to understand command line. Then you can understand the graphical interface. So, okay, what we'll try to do here is try to do this flow, and also I'll give you one useful site tool to a labs, that is dimension immersion. So, okay, this is a site where you can find some of the useful Git labs. Try to look at that. Okay. You can find some around 50 labs, very small, useful labs. Try to look at. I'm trying to update in your chat window. You try to save it as a bookmark. So what is the DevOps engineer role or system admin role in a Git? So we'll try to come across in a coming days. Okay, just I'll try to explain where we can use this. So let us understand Git now. So as I told you, Git is a distributed version control system, whereas rest of all will maintain one centralized repository. From there, everyone will get the code. Whereas distributed is nothing but every user has their own local repository like this, right? You have your own local repository. Okay. So whenever you want to change anything, you can change it. You can work on your own local repository. So the first what you have to do is you have to configure your details, like git config, your username, your mail ID, what kind of, if you require any color coding, line endings, all those things you can configure it. So like why, okay, whoever changes happen, right? Whatever the changes happen, you want to know who committed it, at what time, what is his mail ID, name, all those things. You want to know. That's why, okay, we need to configure those details first. Git config --global, username and mail ID, Okay, line endings, if you require Unix line endings, Windows line endings, whatever, you can update it. Here onwards, okay, okay, it will start. Let's say it has created on a folder called store kind of folder, right? Okay, you created your own project directory called store, suppose. So it is an empty directory, right? First of all, so I'm trying to open a git bash in my Windows machine. Okay, as of now, when I create a directory, right? So it says that already file exists. Let us create one directory. Okay. Something I created in a git new project kind of thing. Go into that one. Now, if you look at ls-al, do you have any files here? No. But when you run a git init, right? So when you run the git init, it will try to create an empty git repository. Local repository. It has created empty local git repository. So it is started with a .git. Dot is nothing but hidden file. So if you generally ls will not show you ls-al, it will show you that, okay, there is a .git. .git says that it is in a hidden file, but it is your local, it has created one directory to maintain your local repository. Right? Now you created your own local repository. Done. Sometimes, if you want to maintain a centralized Git server, your own centralized Git server, so you can run git init -bear. -bear is nothing but it will try to create a centralized Git server. It is in a my local machine. If you want to create a centralized Git server, you can say -bear. We will try to look at that afterwards. Okay. Okay. So just clear. So we created our own local repository first. Now, to create any files here, okay, we want to create any files. Let's say I created a file called file1, suppose. I created a file in an operating system level, that file1. Any changes happen in your working directory now once you created a local repository. Any changes happen, it will try to track all the changes by Git. Now onwards, all the changes are tracked by Git. If you look at Git status, it says that there is a one file added. It says that it is untracked file. Untracked file is nothing but you didn't add it to the staging area. So we discussed, right? Okay, the file, once you created a file, you have to add it to the staging area first. Once it is added to the staging area, you can commit it to the local repository. Whenever you feel comfort, right, you can push to the remote repository. Now, to add to a local repository, you can add git add file name. So it is added to the local repository. Now you run the git status again. It says that you added to the local repository. So you added to the staging area, fine, but you didn't committed it as of now. Now to commit that, I say git commit -m a message. Whenever you are trying to commit, right, give a proper message so that other developers, other team members can understand what you are trying to do. Right? So the message is nothing but something, let us say my first commit. Done. Now you run a command called git status again. What it says, your working directory is clean. So it is saying that your working directory is clean is nothing but whatever the created files are updated or changed files, those are all committed to your local repository. There is nothing to do. Okay, nothing to commit or add anything. But till now, what are the commits happen? How many people are committed? What are the commits happen? You want to know? You can run a command like git log. So git log will tell you what is the commit message, who committed it, at what time committed, everything you could see. Right? Is it clear? So as of now, we didn't discuss about any centralized server as of now. We will try to discuss. So what is the staging area in Git? It is nothing but an indexing kind of thing, cache kind of thing. So first add it to the index area, first all the files, whatever you're trying to change, then try to commit into the local repository. Clear? Is it clear? Okay. So once you committed to the local repository, you could see that git status is nothing but clean. And what are the commits happened till now? You can run the git log and check it. What are the commits happened? Right. So let us say, when you try to run a command called git status, it says that working directory is clean, but okay, let us edit a file. I have edited a file. Okay. Now, whether I've edited a file in my operating system level, but I want to know what are the git as observations. What git is? I told you, right? Every changes happen, git will try to track it. Now, right, run a git status here. I run the git status, right? You can see that it's saying that a file called file1 is modified, but you didn't add it to the staging area. Staging area is nothing but indexing kind of thing. To add to the local repository, first you try to add all the files to the staging area, then you can commit to the local repository. Once you committed local repository, you are sure, okay, you want to share that code to your team members or a project members, then you can say git push to a remote repository. Okay. So that is modified file1. Now try to add that particular one. So how to add it? Git add file1. So when you run the git file add one, right? File1. Run the git status, what it says? Yes, the file, modified file you added to the staging area, but you didn't committed it. Okay, you didn't committed it. If you want to commit it, okay, what you have to do? Git commit -m. Let us say something, it is an updated file kind of. Right? So you try to create now commits. So if you want to look at all the commits, you can run command called git log. It will show you what are the commits happened till now. Commit ID, who committed it, when committed it, what is the commit message. Okay, if you want to, you have a lot of commits, you want to get all the things in a one line, -1 line. You have two commits now. Okay, that shown in a one line kind of thing. Okay, is it clear? If you want to get output, git log output, what are the commits happened till now? You want to look at in a one line, you can say git log -, one line kind of thing. Is it clear? Now, what I'll try to do is I'll try to edit again my file. Okay. What is happening? Okay, now we try to edit our file one again. So let us say, okay, I try to add one more line here. I try to delete the first line. Now save this file. Now if you look at git status, what it says, run the git status, what it's saying, there is a modified file one, but it is a very big file. Suppose let us say it is a very big file. I want to understand what are the changes happen. Okay, let us say it is a Java program or Python program, whatever, or else you are writing in a chef code, Puppet, Ansible code, whatever. It may be a vagrant code, vagrant file code. You change a lot of changes, but you want to know what are the changes happen. You can run a command called git diff. If you run the git diff with the file name or anything, it will show you what are the changes happened on this particular file. Wherever you could see minus symbol, right, that is file is deleted here. Plus is nothing but added. Okay, so in this particular file, it is trying to compare from your local repository file. From the local repository file, what are the changes happen in your file? It will try to show you by running the command called git diff. Is that clear? Okay, let us say we try to understand, okay, it is changed, okay, this line is changed, this particular portion of the line is changed, it is deleted and all fine. But what we understood is, okay, it is wrongly updated. You want to revert back. You know that, okay, the previously committed file was working fine, but newly changes, whatever the changes happen, that is not working as per the expectation. Some wrongly updated. You want to revert back, suppose. You can say git checkout file 1. So if you run this command, now look at git diff file 1. Cat file 1. So you have only a good evening. Whatever the changes happen, they're all reverted back. Right? The git checkout command will try to, okay, it will try to bring back the state where you committed previously. Clear? So what if the committed can be? So, okay, the commit is nothing but you are trying to log that code. Okay, this is the first version, second version, third version kind of thing. Whenever any changes happen, you want to roll back it. You want to revert back the changes. Yes, you can do that here. Okay. Okay, so no, it will not overwrite basically. It will try to maintain all the versions, but you change some file. You observe that by running a command called git diff. Okay, you change some file and you run the command called git diff and you observe that, okay, there is some changes happen. Now you feel that, okay, it is wrongly updated, you want to revert back. Okay, you feel that it is wrongly updated, you want to revert back. Yes, you can revert back anytime, any particular file by running a command called git checkout, the file name. So it will try to revert back. Right? Is that clear? So the question here is, Matab, if we have a 3 to 4 changes and committed every time, but now what is the second change only? Okay, yes, you can do like whatever you want. You can go back that particular file, you can delete. Okay, that we didn't discuss. If you want to delete the particular commit, yes, you can do that. That we'll try to understand in a while now. As of now, we are trying to get only one change. The same question from Sandeep. If we have 3 to 4 commits, then we won't revert back any. Okay, same question. We'll try to address that as well. Okay. 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 Just we'll take a 10 minutes break, guys. Just I'm feeling a bit drowsy. Okay. It is now 8:02. We'll meet exactly at 8:12 kind of thing. Okay. We'll take a 10 minutes break here, and we'll come back and we'll try to discuss more details in a bit. So I'll be in a mute for 10 minutes. We'll come back and we'll discuss rest of the things. Okay. Okay, guys. Okay. Yeah, thanks for waiting, guys. Shall we continue? Uh, the question here is like the file which are sharing that git1.pdf is not available for us in LMS. Okay, I hope it is available in your LMS. Okay, if it is not, I'll share it. Okay, no need to worry. Okay, so let us move forward to understand the more about Git. So you can add on a single file. Let me show you this. You can add on a single file with the file name, or else you can add all the files which are modified, which are updated. I mean, same, okay, which are updated or newly added files by running a command called git add --- all. All the files will be added in a single go. Then you could say something like if you want to add all the txt files, you can say git add star.txt, right? So you can say git add in a particular folder called docs if you want to add txt files. If you want to add entire folder, okay, in your project the txt files you want to add it, yes, you can add it in a different ways, right? These are all the git add commands. By running a command called git add, it will try to add the files into a staging area, right? So what the git diff does, it will try to tell you what are the changes happen in your file from last commit. That is what just we have seen, right? So if you look at here, vi file 1, so I try to delete in a first line. I try to add some more lines here saying that, okay, updated file. So if you look at here, when I run the git diff, so it will tell you that, okay, what exactly happened, what are the changes happened, which portion of the file is updated, everything in detail you'll get it. Okay, now you want to revert back, you can revert back it, or else you can add that git add -all. Now can you run that git diff now? No, it is nothing is showing, right? Everything it is, but if you run the stage -staged, I want to know the differences between your staged files to your committed files. So it says that one of the file called file 1 is changed some things like these are all the things, right? These are all the changes happen from, okay, of your file. Clear? So if you commit this also, if I run the git commit -a -m, I can say something like, okay, updated file 1. Now try to run git diff or git diff -staged, whatever. So it will say that, okay, everything has committed. Now run the git status as well. Everything is clean. Working directory is clean, right? So that is a git stage, git difference, git diff -stage. Git diff will tell you what are the changes happen on your local working directory to the latest commit. So the question here is, where can we find all the git commands? Okay, so just you run the git, it will give you all the commands. What are the available commands? So these are all the different commands generally we work. Okay, you can get help as well. Okay, git add, just you try to run git, it will tell you how to get a particular help. Git help -a -g list available subcommands, you can get help. Okay, if you go to git-scm.com, right, You could find some of the documents also available here. ProGit, some of the document. So it is a free of cost. You can read online or else you can purchase from Amazon. Okay. So these are all the different options. Now, what we are trying to understand is what the git checkout does. Any git checkout file name, what it does, it will try to blow away all the changes since last commit. Whatever the changes happen from the last commit, it will try to revert back everything. Okay. So let us move forward. We try to understand some of these commands, very useful commands. Git reset, -soft is there, -hard is there. Head is nothing but, okay, where exactly the latest commit is, that is nothing but we can call it a git head. Okay, if you look at here, git status or else git log -one line. The head is pointing to the latest commit, that is updated file 1 commit. Okay, so if you observe that when you run, if you want to revert back, okay, let me show you a simple example. It is working directory clean, right? Let us create some files. I've created some files like A, B, C, D, something. Okay. Now, what I'll try to do, git status, if you observe, it says that there are some files A, B, C, D that are added. Now, what I do, I'll try to add them. Git commit. Just I'm trying to add some files added kind of a message. Done. Now try to look at git status. Everything is clean as expected. But you want to revert back. Yes, you can use git reset. If you look at git reset, -soft you have, head cap. Head 1 cap is nothing but revert one latest commit. Okay, revert one latest commit. If you are using a soft, means nothing but whatever the files are committed in that particular commit, try to bring back to the staging area. Right? How to bring back to the staging area. So if you, instead of, okay, let me do this. Now, if you look at what are the git log -one line, see that the, okay, previously how many commits were there? 3 only, right? So there is some mistake I've given. Okay, let us see git status first. It says that files are added. Previously, the latest commit was some files added, but because of I ran a git reset -soft, the latest commit was deleted, and the files which you added in that particular commit is bring back to the staging area. Suppose actually you want to update something in A, then you want to commit, but unfortunately, okay, unexpectedly you committed. Now you want to bring back that A file. So what you did is, with the help of soft, you bring back to the staging area. Now you want to bring back to the working directory. Suppose you can run a command called git reset head. Okay, the file name A. I just send it. So okay, I've given wrong command. Git reset head. So what happens now? If you look at git status, right? So the 3 files are added into the staging area, but A file is just add it to the local working directory. That's it. You didn't add it to the staging area. Now, as per your requirements, you can change it. Okay, let us say vi a file. Okay. Okay. So okay, added an entry. Something, okay, for some update happen on a file. Then you try to run a command called git add a, git status. If you look at all the files are added into the staging area. Now I'll try to run commit, git commit -m. Okay, I try to run again the same thing, the same commit again, git commit -m. I can say some files added. Now if you look at git log, one line. So what happened? The latest commit was removed, and what are the files added? It will try to add into the staging area, bring back to the staging area. From there, if you want to bring back to the working directory, you can bring back and edit and can push it again. Okay. Right. So if you look at the software, will bring back that into a staging area. Whereas if you add a hard, if you use a hard, right? So it will revert, it will remove all the changes whatever happened in the latest commit. That means it not only remove the latest commit, it will remove all the files whatever the added in that particular area. Okay, so look at here, ls, all the files are there, right? So if I run a command called hard here, instead of soft, git reset -hard head cap. So now you look at ls, any files are there? No. Git status, working directory is clean. That means it is removed entirely whatever the commit, latest commit. Right? Is it clear? These two commands, soft and hard. Any doubts in this? Hard will try to remove the latest commit, whatever the added files and everything, it will try to revert back. But whereas soft, it will try to remove the latest commit, but whatever the files, whatever the changes you have done, whatever the modifications are done, those are all bring back to the staging area. From there, you can change anything and you can again commit it. But hard will try to revert back everything. It will delete all the changes, all the updates, whatever happened, it will try to remove everything. Clear? Okay, the question is, Sandeep, okay, what if the commit is done by different person and okay, different person reset? So where we are working is till now, we are trying to work on our local repository. We are not discussing about any different user, right? So as we discussed, every user has their own local repository. Okay, we are trying to work with that particular local repository as well. Clear? Is that clear? Any doubts? Exactly. The Praveen says each cap indicates each latest commit. Exactly. If I use a two commits, right, it will try to revert back two commits. Each cap indicates one commit. Here, if I run a commit, n number of caps, each cap will indicate one that particular, that latest commit kind of. If I use two, it will try to revert two commits. There is another option kind amend. Let us say you committed a lot of files, but you forgot to add some exe, some important exe file. Okay, or else some of the Java file to test. So instead of again committing, a single commit. Okay, again committing this only one file. You can amend this file to your existing commit. You can amend the file to your existing commit by running a command called git amend the message. So what happens? It will not create another new commit for only this single file. It will try to amend to the existing commit only. Clear? Okay. So let us move forward. So generally, once you prepare the code, once you locally pushed it, once your local commit happens, everything is fine. Then you can push that code to a remote repository. That code can be pulled by any other user, okay, to get updated the file. Suppose let us say you are all working as a team. Whatever the changes you have done, you want to share with your team member, so he can update that. So what you can do, you can push to a centralized repository, and then you can pull that. Okay, that code can be pulled to rest of users. Clear? Git push, git pull. So how to push it? Where to push it? To do that, we have in different environments. You can create your own centralized server by using different softwares called GitOS, this kind of thing. Or as hosted environment. Okay, someone already prepared that environment. You can create an account and you can push it, like GitHub, Bitbucket kind of thing. Okay, softwares. Right? GitHub is on a hosted environment. Okay, they are giving you a platform as a service, so you can push the code over there, and you can from okay the entire code will be located in a GitHub. Right? So in a GitHub, let us say your company account. Okay, if you are trying to share your company code, yes, you have in a public and private repositories in a GitHub. If you want to share your code to entire public, you can make it as a public repository. But if you want to make that a private repository for your company persons only, yes, you can do that as well. Clear? So try to create a GitHub account and try to share that code. Try to push that code over there. Clear? So let us create a GitHub kind of thing in a remote repository, and then you can push it. So if you look at github.com, you can create your own account and create a repository. Then add that repository details over here. So how to do that? You can, once your account created, you can go for new repository. Okay, the new repository details update over here. Let us say new Git project something. Right? So description you can give whatever the description you require. Okay. Now you want to make this as a public or private. If you make it as a public, anyone can access that particular code what you are trying to upload. If you want to make it as a private, yes, you can maintain a private code privately. Only you can access, authorized user can access it. But you have to give in a credit card or PayPal account details. Okay. You want to maintain a safely, okay, you can go for private or else public. So now you can create a repository. Now once you created a repository, it is saying that okay, do some operations. Did we create it on a directory and created one file? We ran a git init already done. We added, we committed. Now we need to add a remote repository. We need to add a remote repository so that I can push over here. Right? Git remote add Okay, if you look at here, there is another two things. One is git@github.com. If you can use an HTTPS as well. Okay, this is the one. If you want to go with HTTPS, yes, you can go for it. Okay, git add git remote add. Okay, git remote add origin that link. Okay, or else you can directly copy this. Done. Now try to look at what is the remote repository actually. Git remote -v. It will tell you what are the remote repositories. So these two are the remote like this is the remote repository. Either you fetch or push. Okay, it will try to push into this particular repository. Now we'll try to push that code to that particular remote repository. So how to push it? Git push -u origin master. As of now, we are trying to push master branch. We didn't discuss about branching as of now. Let us push it. Ideally, it will ask, okay, anyone can download. If it is on a public repository, anyone can download. But only authorized people can update the code. That means push can be done by only authorized people. But did I ask any username and password here? No, right? It is not asked any username and password. Ideally, it will ask you a username and password for in your environment. You have to give, whenever you push it, you have to give your username and password to authenticate with that and try to push the code. So instead of us asking every time the username and password, so what we can do is, okay, let us say this is one of the server. I want to push from here without asking any password. Passwordless authentication you want to do, suppose. You want to do a passwordless authentication, suppose. What you can do is you can generate an SSH key. Let us say SSH -keygen. It will generate an SSH key, okay, public and private key in this particular location. So what you can do is the public key can be the public key, whatever the generated, right? The public key, try to share, try to update in your GitHub repository. Okay. Now go to here, go to GitHub, try to look at settings. Try to look at settings. Here you could find something SSH and key pairs. Try to add a new key. Suppose AWS, something Ubuntu server. Try to add that key. Done. So when you try to add a key, it will try to ask password one time. Now onwards, from this server, without asking any username and password, it will try to push that. But if we look at whether Git is installed or not, apt-get install Git. Done. If you run the Git, right, yes, it is working. Now onwards, you can push or pull anything in that particular repository, GitHub repository. Now try to look at here. We try to upload it, right? So let us say a new team member joined in your team. Okay, new team member has joined in your team. Now you want to get that repository details. What is the repository we are trying to push and all. So once you've given the details, let us say new Git project. You ask them to clone that code, whatever the project code you have from here. Okay, this is the link actually. It is a Linux machine, right? I'm trying to use SSH. So I'm trying to take a different Linux machine to work with it. So I say git clone. Right? So what happens? It will try to clone that particular code over here. Right? Done. So where it is cloned? In a repository called new git project. cd new git project. Already it is created local repository kind of thing. ls-al. If you look at, already .git is there. And if you look at more, it's already you have in a file one now. More file one, the code whatever you have, it is available. If you look at git log, so whatever the commit happens till now, everything is available. Clear? Now let us update the code and we'll try to push it. Okay, vi a file one. Unknowingly, okay, we'll try to add the same file. Okay, we'll try to update something like the file. Okay, it is a Linux user update. Right? So ideally it should not ask password, right? So we try to run a command like git push. So whatever the updates happen, okay, we'll try to push. So it says that the permanently added this one to the is that pushed or not? Okay, it is saying that up to date. Is there any mistake I did? I didn't add. Git status run it. I didn't add it. Git add. Okay, hyphen all. Git commit. -m. I can say something like Linux user update. Done. It is saying that you didn't add your, I didn't config that. I told you, right? First you have to config that. Git config -- global user dot name. Let us say something Raghu. Email ID. Something at the rate some gmail.com, whatever. Okay. Done. Now you run the git status. It is clean, right? So it is working directory is clean. What it is saying, your branch is ahead of one commit than the remote repository. Now try to push it. Will it ask any password? No. Ideally, it should not ask password. Why? Because the authentication key is updated in a GitHub. So it is not asking password. Now, unknowingly, the same file is updating by the Windows user as well. Okay. vi file one. Okay, he doesn't know what is updated by that particular user. He is trying to update here. Okay. So Windows user update. Right? The multiple users are updating same time. Now I say git add hyphen. See, I don't want to add every time and commit. I can do both the things in a single go. -a -m Windows user update. You can do, okay, there is some mistake. Some modified file is there. We didn't commit it now. Git add -- all git commit -a okay, already added, right? So -m Windows user update. Done. Now run the git status. Working directory is clean. When you push it now, right? So now what happens? The same file is updated by some other user as well. So it says that, okay, you are having a older version than what Git remote repository has. So it will try to reject it. So it will say, okay, I'm rejecting you because I have a latest version than what you have. So to avoid that overwriting, what it does, it will ask you to pull that first. Okay, first pull it out or so when you pull it, all the users, whatever the changes happen, any user, any location, if any user happens, changes happen, it will try to pull first. Okay, so let us do that first. Okay, git pull. When you run the pull, right, now you know that the same file is update happen on both the users. So if the same file is updated by the multiple users, okay, if the same is updated by multiple users, okay, so it says that there is a conflict. But there is some conflicts. Why? Because multiple users are updated. So instead of overwriting, okay, it says that there is some conflict happen. Which file? It says that the file is something file 1. Now you try to run the git diff file 1. What are the changes happen? Sorry. What are the conflicts are there? Everything you want to look at. Git diff file 1. It says that okay, this is the conflict happen. Okay, if you look at vi file 1, okay, this is the actual conflict happen. This is the Windows user update. This is the other user update. This is the commit message. Now you try to think which one is correct and resolve the conflict. Okay, you treat that. Okay, this is the actual right code. It should be Windows user code should be first, then Linux user. This is the actual code. Now try to add that git add. Look at git status, right? It says that modified file git add -a -m conflicts resolved done. What happened? What is the command I'm trying to use? Git add or what? No, git commit you have to use. I don't want to add it, right? I want to commit I want to commit okay, in a one go. -add -m. Done. Now try to look at git status. Now try to run a git push. Will it allow now? Yes, you pulled it. So what is it? What it is? What we are trying to say is, whenever you come to shift or if whenever you are trying to push any code, first you try to pull it. Try to get all the changes. What are the other users, other locations, other timings are updated. First, try to get all the updates first. And if you have any conflicts, try to resolve it first. Once all those are done, once updates and all those are done, then you try to push it. Right? If I Linux user, if you pull it, right, git pull. Where we copied that. Okay. New git project, where it is. Okay. In this one, try to run git pull. So whatever the changes happen from the Windows user, you'll get it. Now, if you look at more file 1, see this is the Windows user update, Linux user update. It will not overwrite at any point of time. If you look at git log -1 line, so this is the conflict resolved by Windows user, the Windows update, Linux update. These are all the things. Is that clear? How to resolve the conflicts. So there is a question, what is Git OSS? It is if you want to have your own Git repository instead of GitHub. If you want to maintain your own, then you can go for Git OSS kind of tool. Is there any doubts, guys? Still now, whatever I discussed, how to resolve the conflicts, how to push, how to pull, how to clone. The first time you have to clone it. Next time onwards, you have to pull that particular code. Any doubts? Okay, why need to pull again, right? So why we need to pull? So some other user are updated happens. So every day you are trying to work in a project, every day there are changes happening. So you want to get their changes as well. If you look at here, file 1 is changed by Windows user, right? I want to get that update as well. So then every time, whenever you try to work, whenever you try to push, okay, you want to get latest features, you try to pull it. Here. Is that clear? Am I audible, guys? There is a Bhaskar Kumar. I didn't get the concept of passwordless authentication. Do you need to get the public key from other users' servers? No. See, you don't require actually. So let me show you one other thing. Let us say this is another server. Guys, try to understand it. So it is another server. So what I'll do, I'll try to reconnect it. Okay, this is another server. It is. So let us say I want to clone and I'm trying to push it from here. Let us see what happens. Okay, this is a remote repository. I'm trying to clone it. Git. Okay, let us say first apt-get install git. Git is installed. Now I try to run a command called git clone. It is trying to create a clone. Done. It is cloned. Why it is not accessing? Okay, now it is cloned, right? If you look at cd new git project, if you look at here, there is a file 1. If you look at more file 1, okay, this entire up to date is there. But if I want to push it, okay, let us say I want to push it. We try to update the file 1. So we other Linux or user update something. Okay. Now try to save it. Now I want to push it, right? Git push -u origin master. I want to push it to master repository. So it is asking what is your username. So I've given my username. What is the password? So every time if you want to push, every time you have to give username and password, right? So whenever you're trying to push anything, it will ask you what is the username and password every time. So branch master setup track remote branch. So now what is the problem here? Git status, if you look at here, so you didn't add it. Git add -all git commit -m something Ubuntu server update. Done. So again, you didn't configure here. That's why it is giving error. Right? Before doing anything, you have to configure, right? So what is your username and all? So you have to do git config user dot name okay, user dot email, okay, done. Now try to push it. Every time you push, right, it will ask you username and password. To avoid this, okay, you don't want to push every time. Okay, you are trying to push every time. Okay, in a day, somewhere around 10 to 15 times you are trying to push the code. So every time, if you want to give in a password, okay, you don't want to give the password every time. You want to make a passwordless authentication, suppose. See that other Linux user update, you got it. But you want to make passwordless authentication. So you have to generate a public key and you update that public key into your GitHub, so that okay, it will not ask password every time. Am I clear here? Yeah, I can create a credentials for user better. Okay, if you have a passwordless authentication, right? So that is better. Yeah, I can create. You can create an okay, you can ask. You can create an authentication mechanism for that particular users as well. Okay, a particular repository level, you can give permissions to different users to access it. Okay, repository based settings you can do. Okay, if you want to go to the settings, okay, if you want to see the collaborations, so now this repository doesn't have any collaboration set. Use from below to collaborate. Search for a username, full name, or email address. You will only be the find GitHub user their email address if they have chosen to publicly. Otherwise, there may be username instead. Use username of that. You have to invite them. Okay, if you have an account, you have a username for them, then you have to invite them to work with this particular repository. In your team, there are multiple users. You can invite them so that okay, you can all work together. Okay. So we'll try to discuss GitHub, okay, in a while. So as of now, we try to discuss Git. Right? We could able to push, we could able to pull. All these things can be done. Yes, other guys should have a GitHub account. So Praveen, I hope I answered your question, right? So every user has their own GitHub account, and based on your requirement, you can give permissions to them. You can invite them. You can manage. Okay, get it. These are all like a private repositories. If you want to have your own private repositories, Prasad, if you want to have your own private repositories, you can create it. There is a GitLab. The one of the GitLab is a popular one. Okay, it will maintain your own private repositories. Okay. Am I clear with this? How to resolve the conflicts, how to create a repository, remote repository, how to add it, how to push, how to clone, how to pull. So there's a question from Balaji. While pushing that central repository, okay, every time the dev has to be the pull that only option. So whenever the multiple user environment, if you are working, Okay, so you don't know whoever updating the file, right? So every time when you push it, first you pull that code first. So when you pull it, right, you'll get to know is there any changes happen in that particular file. If any changes happen, any conflicts happen, first you have to resolve it. Then you have to push it. If there are any code mistakes from your team member, if there is any conflicts, you try to discuss with your team member and try to understand what are the changes need to be done. And accordingly, you try to update and push it. Am I clear? Okay. So let us move forward. So now we'll try to understand one of the important topic like Git branching. Git, what is the big Git branching? Git branching strategy. Okay. So how we can maintain the branches? What is the branch first? Those are all the things we'll try to understand. Reset, Git amend, whatever. Once you have pushed it, that's it. It is shared to public. Okay, don't do again that. Okay, revert back to the original branch. Is that clear? Once you push that code to a centralized remote repository, don't revert. Don't use revert commands, guys. Yes, you can use. Okay, it is such an. It is not for the staging and production kind of thing. If you want to use on a separate, okay, you can use separate branches for staging and production. That is fine. But I'll tell you why we used in a branching especially. Better use separate repository for the staging and production. Okay, why we use branching, that I'll try to discuss. Okay, if you want to maintain a separate branches for the different environments, that would be better. Okay, so first of all, what is the branching strategy? So let us say we are working for in a company like, okay, you are all working for a small company like, okay, whatever, quickbuzz.com suppose. So in a quickbuzz.com, you are working fine. Now they want to come up with a new feature like chatting at the time of match going on. Okay, they want to add a new feature like enable the chat option to the users who are watching. Okay, and the live score, after the live score, okay, it's beside to the live score, they want to give a chat kind of option, so all the live users who are watching that can chat. Now you're already having an existing code, you don't want to edit that. Okay, so what you can do is you create a separate branch called chatting. In that you try to edit as per the requirements. Okay, then you test it, then try to deploy it on one of the test environment. If everything working as expected after it is a production ready, then you try to merge with your existing code so that now onwards you'll get a chat option. Okay, try to look at that. Okay, look at this particular branching strategy. If you look at, guys, I have a different branches. Generally till now we worked on only master branch. Suppose you may have a different branches. Okay, So I have a code actually in a master branch. So I want to have a separate development branch where I have tried to add some features to that. So try to create a branch called development branch and start working on it. At the time of working, you got one more requirement saying that, okay, when you are trying to chat, right, I want to get in a background of that particular two teams logo. You want to add some more feature. The client has added some more feature. So what you can do, you try to create a one more branch called feature one something and try to develop and merge your development branch. Once development activity is done, suppose, okay, now your chatting feature is done, developed. Now what you try to do is you try to merge into a release branch. From the release branch, you try to test the code using a different tools like ant, mav, and test, compile, build the software and deploy it into test environment, dev environment. Once it is executed as expected, it is working. Then you try to merge with a master branch and you can tag it something like version 1.1. In general, let us say, you have generally a software released and it is went live. After releasing the software, if you find any issues, they call it as a hot fix. Okay, if you want to resolve that, okay, they try to say it as an hot fix. Before software release, if you find any issues, they call it as a bug fix kind of thing. So let us say previously you released on a version 0.1, but you find some bug in it. So you need to do some hot fix. So what I did with the ticket number, you got some ticket number, some issued number. So try to create a branch with a hotfix underscore some ticket number. So this is a new branch now. You worked on it and you try to merge to a master branch. Once it is working, you made it as a 1.0.2 version. Now you release the bug. One issue here. You release some bug. This bug may be repeated in a number of times. To avoid that, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to merge that into my development branch to avoid that. Okay, to get again that same kind of issue. Then I released and merged to a master branch again, changed it as a 1.2 version something. Right? Suppose you want to continue, okay, it is working done. Now you want to continue some more features. Again, you try to merge to your development branch, again you continue it. So this is generally, okay, the simple branching strategy. Prasad, forget about git errate something or all of those things as of now. Okay, try to concentrate. Okay, what we are trying to discuss. Okay, git branching as of git branching is one of the important topic. Okay, git errate or whatever the remote repositories are there, you can install it and you can get the remote repository link and update to your git so that it will work. So in your LMS, there is a document called create your own GitHub kind of mechanism, kind of a lab document. You can look at that and you can create your own remote repository, not GitHub. Okay, you can create your own remote GitLab kind of thing. GitLab remote repository, you can create your own on your one of the server. Am I clear with the Git branching strategy? There are like a number of different, every company has their own strategy based on their requirements. They try to get it. But if you want to get more understanding on the Git branches, try to look at some of the images on the Google. Go to images and like Git branching strategy kind of thing. Git branching strategy. Try to get an images So you can find a lot of different options. You can try to look at images. Okay, try to like whichever you feel comfortable, try to look at based on their requirements, their company requirements. They try to create a branching strategy. Okay. So try to look at this. So just I'm a bit drowsy today. Just I'm trying to close the session today now. So around 20 minutes early. But in our next week, right, when we discuss, we will try to complete the Git. A lot of things to discuss in a Git. So we try to work on a branches, we try to work on rebase, we try to work on a Git tags. Okay, these are all the things we need to discuss. Once it is done, we'll try to discuss AWS. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Anyone having issues? Just let me know now. Yeah, Pankaj, I'll try to take your screen share now. So try to look at now. Okay. Pankaj, I'm making you presenter now. Try to share your screen. Okay, we'll try to look at what is happening on your end. Guys, when I'm trying to share, when I'm trying to resolve one particular issue, right? Please try to concentrate on that. So you may have the same kind of issue. Okay, you can resolve it. Okay. Yeah, Pankaj, share
Yeah.
your screen.
Hi, Raghu. Hi. How are you?
I'm good.
See,
Thank
this is the VI when I opened it, and it is not populated. What I have done is
you. Try to
this is
come
the
out of that.
yeah.
Try to come out
It
of that.
is sorry.
Minimize this.
Okay.
Try to come out of that escape colon Q exclamatory mark.
Okay.
Escape colon. Escape shift colon.
I'm doing that. Escape, shift, and colon, right?
Shift colon. So
Yeah.
then Q exclamatory mark.
Okay. Escape, shift, colon.
Colon. Then Q. Then shift 1. Q. No, you removed the colon as well. Escape shift colon. Okay, try to close this box. I try to open one more git bash. Close. Try to open one more git bash.
Yes, Raghu.
Go to that particular directory. Go to that particular directory first. No, man. You have to go to
Okay.
that directory, right? Escape shift colon. Okay, close it. Okay, try to open new one. CD, the project directory where no. You created one directory where your Vagrant file created.
Okay. It's in. Okay. Just a minute.
No. Try to run PWD first. So you are in already users, Pankaj. CD my first app something you created. CD
Yes.
space. Okay, enter. Now ls vi space capital V tab, enter. Available, right?
Okay. So what wrong I was doing? I was not going into the Vagrant file. I was going into the Vagrant.
Yeah, you have to look at Vagrant file where we write a code in a Vagrant file, right?
Okay. So now I can change the IP. So
Yeah,
this
here
is
it.
my private network IP. It is giving.
Yes. Better you try
So
to open in a Notepad++ so you can easily edit it.
okay. So that is what the thing. The changes here. If I make the changes here
You
to
know, line
this.
number 35. Go to line number 35.
Okay.
Okay, remove the comment in the first character. Now assign whatever the IP you required, 192.168. Then ideally the 56 dot something.
Yes. My network is giving me that same 56. I will go with the whatever you have given me.
Yeah, 56. Then whatever the IP
56.111.
is. Yeah, 10
Yeah.
would be fine. Okay.
Okay. 10. I will do that.
Okay,
Save.
save it.
Okay.
Okay, now try to go to that particular Vagrant file, Vagrant the git bash.
Okay.
Okay, come out of this escape shift:*q exclamatory mark, or else close this.
Okay. Again, VI.
CD
Okay.
my first app. You have to go into that your app
Okay.
directory, right?
Okay.
Now Vagrant space up. No, Vagrant
Okay.
space up hyphen provider equals to VirtualBox. If it is not working, suppose if it is not coming up, you have to use hyphen provider equals to VirtualBox.
Okay. The command which you told yesterday.
Yeah, see, bringing up already. So it is taken default VirtualBox. Now it is starting.
Okay. So I don't have to make any changes.
No. So
Okay.
there is command, just a minute.
Okay.
Unspecified error. VirtualBox.exe. Try to run again, Vagrant up. There is some error. Let us see. There is some issue with your VirtualBox. Might be you have
Okay.
changed some settings.
Which one?
There is a vbox manage.exe error. Context lock machine a session lock type, right? Maybe there is some file is logged. Okay, try to reboot your machine once and try. Okay.
Okay. If it
Okay.
doesn't get cleared, can I contact the support?
Yes.
Because at the night I will like to just go through the whatever I have, whatever was being taught in the class.
Yeah. Please go ahead. Okay,
Yeah.
basically by looking at error, you will try to resolve. So if not, try to contact us. Okay.
Okay, and will installing plugins or something like that work?
No. Ideally,
Uh,
it should work. Let us do this. Okay, try to do it.
okay, I will reboot the machine and then I will try.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
So
tomorrow
anyone
is no
having
class,
same?
right?
No. Again, we meet on Saturday.
Saturday. Okay, okay, all right. Okay,
Yeah.
thanks, Raghu. Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome. So anyone having issues, guys? Anyone having any issues? But you no need to worry much about the. Okay, you need not to worry much about the vagrant actually. So if it is not working, also we try to work on AWS. There you will get on a free lab. Okay. So you can also integrate Vagrant with AWS also. So I'll try to show you that as well. Okay. You can work in that way as well. So Kiran Kumar, John, can you try to send in a mail to support team once? Generally in your LMS, if you look at, okay, in your LMS, the recorded session 1, 2, they'll upload it. If you didn't find, just try to contact one support team. They'll help you to get all the details. Okay. Yeah, Git PPT is already updated into LMS, guys. Okay, whatever you didn't get, try to contact one support team. Ideally, that will be available in your LMS. If something is missing, please contact once. If it is not, I'll check today. If it is not there, I'll update anyway. Okay. So join contact to one's support team, please. And then there is a request from. Okay. So the Pramod Kumar unable to connect my CentOS machine from Putty. Maybe yesterday we worked, right? One of our participants having a issue, same kind of issue. So maybe that issue regarding the CentOS 7 is not allowed to password authentication, guys. So try to do a vagrant SSH first on from your Gitbat and going to the machine, try to edit your /etc/sshd_config file and allow the password authentication is yes, then restart the service. So ideally it will allow the password. Okay, then it will allow you to connect the server. Okay, most of the times if you are using the CentOS 7, it will not allow you to authenticate with the password. Clear? Yeah, Kiran Kumar, tell me what exactly, how can I help you? Kiran, you want me to take screen share? Okay, Kiran, I'm trying to make you a presenter. So, okay, you can share your screen so that, okay, we can work together to understand it. You are unmuted as well. Okay, you can raise the concern.
Yeah. Actually, before I got this error, but right now its server is up. I got this config VM boot timeout. So now it's up. Just I tried, but once it is server is up, it has to show here, right, in the Oracle VM VirtualBox.
Which operating system you are using?
It's a Windows.
Windows, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it should show then. Okay, we'll do one thing. Close it.
Okay.
Okay, try to vagrant SSH. Come from the console, your git bash, try to run a vagrant SSH.
Yeah, one moment. So what it will do exactly? We Vagrant SSH.
It will try to connect the box, that whatever the started, right? It will connect to that.
Okay.
Okay, try to open with the administrator privileges the Git bash once.
Okay, sure.
There itself you could see last fourth. Not Git bash. I'm asking Oracle virtual.
Okay, all right, yeah. Yeah, it's showing fine, yeah.
Right, it is running.
Yeah. Thanks, Raghu.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay then. Thank you all. Thanks for joining. So we'll meet again in next week. The main concept in a Git, that is a branching, right? So we'll try to look at that branching, Git bash, okay, all those things we'll try to look at. Thank you all. Bye-bye. I hope I addressed all the questions. If I
Thank you.
missed anything, please let me know, or else we'll meet again tomorrow or next week.